Welcome everyone one more time. Nice to see you in your class. Sit in a comfortably cross-legged position. Bring your hands in prayer position in front of your heart. The thumbs touching your sternum and the fingers radiating the love to everyone around us. We start by chanting Om as usual. Inhaling for Om. Set an intention for the practice. Inhaling Bringing your hands in front of your third eye, the seat of intuition that always guides us. Beautiful. We are going to start rubbing your hands to create some warmth in your hand and keep the warm palm on top of your eyes so that the warmth of your hand can dilate the blood vessels of your eyes and increase the flow of blood. Few more times in your own time. Whenever you are going to finish, we are going to continue with our warm-up series. We can start by rotation of our neck. Bring the chin to your chest, to your right, back, left, 3 to 4 times in this direction and 3 to 4 times the opposite. All through the practice, breathe as deep and long as possible. Full yogic breathing. Also rotate your head in your own speed. Take your time. Explore the mobility of your neck. Maybe you have a stiff neck because you have been working or you have not slept properly. So this helps you to bring your neck stretched, strengthened and relaxed for the day or for the night. Then you are going to do it sleep. We are going to warm up our wrist by extending the hands forward, fingers up, down, 5 to 10 times. Everything in this practice is depends upon your flexibility. So continue what is good. You can see what I'm doing and do such way. Beautiful. Interlocking your fingers, making a fist from your strong hand to your weak hand and move from your weak hand to the strong hand. Once you have done one side, the next we can go into a wave from your strong hand to your weak hand and your weak hand to the strong hand. Beautiful people. You are still in the warm-up stage. We can work on our hips next. And before that we can stretch our back, interlocking the fingers. Inhale up, try to bring the hands behind your ears. Exhale down. Inhale, arms up, try to bring the hands behind your ears. Inhale, chin up. Exhale, chin comes down, hand comes down. Release the right hand to the right side, palms facing down. You can stay on your palm or you can go onto your elbow depending on your flexibility. Feel the stretch on your obliques. Very nice people. And obviously to the other side. The point is to have your obliques stretched. Inhale and exhale as long and deep as possible. Beautiful. Gently coming to the center. Go Mukha hand to open our chest, triceps, back, shoulders. If you can interlock your fingers to the back, you please do so. Otherwise, catch a strap or use your fabric. Inhale, lifting the sternum until gently dropping your head back. 3 to 7 times. Breathe. Once you have done, change of side. Very nice. The other side. The point is to open our chest, open our heart, open our mind, open ourselves to all the possibilities. Now we can continue with opening our hips. Then come to a sitting position, move your glutes around if you need to, stretch your legs, but bend your legs bend your legs in such a way as shown, so that open the legs to the width of your mat, so that when you can do internal and external rotation of your hip joint. When you are looking like this, it looks like you're like how do you call this, internal and external rotation, your 5 to 7 times, which really helps us to open our hip socket. Beautiful. Once you have done, keep the leg open to the width of your mat, toes pointing up, upper body goes up, and exhale, flex forward, sitting forward bend, modified version. A very good warm up for your lumbar back, lumbar spine. We are going to stay there for 5 to 7 breaths. Every inhalation, go as long as possible, and every exhalation, exhale out completely, whatever is your possibility. And we are going to stay there for 5 to 7 breaths, as I mentioned before. Inhale, halfway head up, exhale, inhale, full way head up. Now gently close your legs a bit more, so that there is a 20 to 30 centimeter gap between your glutes and your heels. Gently go for a butterfly, a modified version of butterfly, Virabhadrasana. Now we are going to gently push your hips, knees down to open our hip socket. Upper body is up, comes up, and exhale, flex forward. Modified uh, Bandhakonasana. You can see that my foot is on the outside edge of my leg, so that you can go deeper. Every inhalation, try to bring your upper body closer and closer towards the mat. Beautiful, people. Now bring the right hand behind, just behind you, fingers facing back. We are going to lift ourselves up 3 to 5 times to go for a gentle back bend, and also to stretch the front part of our body. Anterior chain is stretched and the posterior chain is compressed. 3 to 4 times later, we are going to stay at the up peak point for 3 to 5 breaths. If you are not in a position to do this pose, don't worry too much. Try to visualize that is happening to your body. Our body doesn't know the difference between an actual happening and the visualization. And you can always try when it's possible. Once you finish this side, change of side as usual. Breathe, breathe, inhale, opening the body. So when you come up, you inhale. At the point, relax, and when you come down, exhale, closing the body. After 3 to 5 times, stay on the up for 5 breaths. It is really good for your strengthening of your shoulders, arms, wrist, and everything. Beautiful, people. Now we are going to continue with our warm up by going into Malasana. Toes pointing out, heel on the mat. If this is not possible, it is perfectly fine to lift your heel or make your legs in a V shape, and try to bring your hips in line with the legs, upper body up, your wrist are compressed against each other, and sternum pressing against each other. This is an isometric hold, and we are going to stay there for 5 to 7 breathe. Inhale as long and deep as possible. Exhale as long and deep as possible. Now we are going to go for stretching the hamstrings. Place your palms into the mat. Now lift your hips, start straightening your legs. Try to keep the palms in the mat as much as possible. Drop your head as much as possible. Feel the stretch in your hamstring. If it is possible, try to keep your palms fixed. If it's not possible, you can always come back onto your you can always go onto your fingertips, or you can release hands completely from the mat. Absolutely, because with tighter hamstrings, it may not be possible to keep the palms fixated in the mat. Inhale, halfway head up. Exhale, full way head up, gently coming out, preparing ourselves to warm up our body using sun salutations. We will do 2 sun salutations, classical and a modified sun salutation. So sun salutation is a very nice way to start building strength and warming up your body. Inhale, arms up, arch back, opening the front side, compressing the back side. Remember to clench your glutes. Exhale, flex forward. If your palms are possible to touch the floor, bring it to the outside edge of your leg. If not, it is okay. Right leg back, opening your right psoas and the quads of the back leg. That is your right. Tuck the back toe, lift the knee up, other leg goes back into a plank. We stay in the plank for 5 long breaths. It's a beautiful time to think of the intention of the practice. Breathe. Dropping your knee, chest, chin into Ashtanga Namaskaram. Sliding ourselves into Bhujangasana, Cobra. Tucking the back toe, lifting the hips up, Aadha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Being the first downward dog of the practice, walk your dogs by stretching one leg, straightening the other heel into the mat. Beautiful people. From there, right leg goes between your hands, dropping your left knee to open your left psoas and left quads. 3 to 5 breaths. Tucking the back toe, lifting the leg up, other leg forward. Inhale, arms up. Whenever you have done, arch back. Exhale, Samastitihi. Beautiful. We are staying there for 3 to 5 breaths. Some standing forward bend is an important asana, so I am staying there for 5 breaths. Exhale, relax. Left leg. Inhale, arms up, arch back. Exhale, flex forward. Inhale, left leg back. Front leg is 90-degree always. Holding your breath, other leg back into a plank. Ashtanga Namaskaram. 8 parts of your body touching the floor. Bhujangasana from there while you inhale and exhale. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Left leg forward. Right leg forward, standing forward bent. Inhale, arms up, arch back. Exhale, relax. We are going to go for a modified version of an sun salutation. We are going to stay in Utkatasana, chair pose. Bend your knees, drop your hips, arm comes up, looking at your palms, drop your head, glutes in. Exhale, flexing forward and straightening the legs at the same time. Inhale, head up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, jump back, Chaturanga. If it's not possible, walk your dog, upward facing dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. Right leg goes between your hands, left leg stays on your toes. Try to keep the heel on top of your toes. High lunge. Front leg is 90-degree. Drop the knee to the outside, staying there for 5 long breaths. From there, we are going to twisting to the right side, twisting warrior. Beautiful people, twisting forward, arm comes down, leg goes back, your own version of Vinyasa, either Chaturanga or drop your knee chest in, upward or cobra, and we all meet in downward facing dog for the left side. High lunge on the left side, left leg forward, right toe on top of your right heel on top of your right toe, high lunge. Your pelvic floor muscle needs to go down. Twisting to the left side, twisting warrior, and we are staying there for 5 to 7 breaths. Take as much long, deep breath as possible. A beautiful pose to strengthen your legs, figuring out balance. Twisting forward, arm comes down, leg goes back. Your own version of Vinyasa. Inhale upward, exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe. 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 Jump forward. From there, Utkatasana chair pose. And come to a standing position whenever you feel you're done. We're going to go for one more round. There will be a small modification towards the end. Utkatasana chair pose, flexing forward, Uttanasana, lifting your head up, Aadha Uttanasana, jump back or walk back for either Chaturanga or dropping your knee, chest, chin, upward facing dog or cobra, downward facing dog, high lunge on the right side. This is a very nice strengthening pose. So we are staying for 3 to 5 breaths. Twisting to the right side, twisting warrior. Engage your back leg completely, twisting forward, arm comes down, leg goes back. Your own version of Vinyasa. Inhale upward, exhale downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Warrior high lunge 1 on the left side. Beautiful people. Ensure that alignment is always correct, which helps us to stay injury free. Beautiful. Twisting to the side, 3 to 5 breaths. This is the intention of an asana practice, is not to only get cure but also to remain injury free. We are going to meet in downward facing dog, opening the legs to the width of your mat to prepare ourselves for 3-legged dog. We will go by 1 limb each. Beautiful. Once you are ready, if you have a possibility, release your right hand to grab your left ankle whenever you feel you have done. If this is not a possibility, try to stay in downward facing dog to increase the strength of your shoulders, shoulder blades. If you can grab your right ankle using your left hand, it is perfectly fine. 3-leg dog. It helps us to strengthen the hand that is on the floor. Beautiful. Once you have done, obviously, you are going to go for the other side. Feel the stability. Take time. The palm that is on the mat needs to be really holding all the weight of your upper body. And you can try to look under your armpit of the opposite arm if you are able to catch the ankle. Beautiful. 3 to 5 breaths, really a strengthening practice. From here, we are going to go for plank but with leg lift variation. For that, elbow straight, legs together, lifting your right leg, toes gently pointing down. Your hips are neutral. I'm looking in the camera, so keep your necks neutral. Beautiful. You see my toes, my heel is not on top of your toes. That is not correct, but it is not too bad either. So you decide how good you can go. So normally I should have put my toes like 5 centimeters back so that my heel will be on top of my toe. And once you have done 5 breaths on both sides, you are going to go for Vinyasa, as in upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Lifting your right leg up, 3-leg dog without your right leg. We are going to stay there for 3 to 5 breaths. Beautiful. I have a bit of a space issue, so my 3-leg dog looks a bit awkward. Try to keep the toes gently pointing down. Send the right leg between your hands. You are going to go for warrior 1. Hips parallel to the front edge, front leg perpendicular to the front edge, the pinky toe and all the toes of your back leg into the mat. Palms up, looking between your palms for 5 long breaths. Feel the inner warrior inside of you. Visualize and utilize the bandhas. From there, opening ourselves into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Try to keep the front knee pointing out, dropping out, pelvis tucked in. Slide your hand, back leg goes onto your toes, lifting the leg, round version of Vinyasa. If you are doing the Vinyasa, try to keep the elbow as close as possible to each other, to your rib cage. And preparing ourselves for the left side. Left leg up. Again, I have some space issues. Try to keep the hips parallel to each other and lift the leg as much as possible. Whenever you feel you have done, you are going to swing the leg between your hands for warrior 1 on this side. Virabhadrasana. Remember your bandha, intention of the practice. Smile. Opening ourselves to warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Slide your upper body, hand comes to the both side of your front leg, that leg goes back, Vinyasa of our own style, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, we go for dancing warrior and humble warrior, right leg up, warrior 1, from there open yourself into warrior 2, drop the back leg to their back thigh and open your front leg up, open your obliques. If your front leg is 90-degree, as much bent as possible. If you have a possibility to bring that back hand to the inner thigh of the front leg, that will also gently pull that hip open for dancing warrior. And look to the rooftop. For 5, you see that my front leg is 90-degree, the pinky toe of my back leg onto the mat through a warrior 2. Now interlock your fingers behind you. Now we are going to move your hips towards the front and drop your body down. At some point, my hands might touch the ground. At the moment, I am trying to touch my head or forehead or chin into the mat. There is no collapse of my front leg or back leg. Front leg stays 90-degree, back leg, the big pinky toe, trying to touch the mat. Always remember this. Inhale, exhale. From there, you are going to go through a vinyasa of our own choice. And then whenever you finish, we are going to do the same on the left side. Beautiful. Swinging your leg between your hands, warrior 1, opening yourself to warrior 2, dancing warrior, back hand goes to the top of your thigh, front leg 90-degree and dropping out. If your possibility, stay here or bring your backhand to the inner thigh. Breathe. Breathe. The more you drop your head, more your obliques opening to the side. Beautiful. From there, we are going to go for humble warrior. You can reverse the direction of you can move one finger off to have an awkward interlock. Open your chest, open your shoulders. Beautiful. Inhale, lifting your head up. Exhale, flexing forward. You're going to stay there for 3 to 5 breaths. Inhale, head up. Whenever you feel you have done, exhale. Try to bring the forehead, chin, anything that works that you can bring towards the mat is perfectly fine. Again, no obligation. Remember, the intention of the practice is to challenge yourself, is not to compete with anybody. From there, we are opening ourselves through warrior 2 for a vinyasa. Right leg goes up into 3-leg dog. Right leg between your hands, warrior 1, preparing ourselves for warrior 3. From warrior 1, we are going to go for releasing the hands to the both sides. Back leg goes onto your toes and try to lift that leg up. Try to keep the hip square, toes pointing down. Keep the hand wherever is comfortable for you. Leg straight, hip straight, and we are planning to stay there for 3 to 5 long breaths. With the other side, the position of hands is as much as is possible without dropping the leg. You can swing your leg to bring the leg up straight, stand straight on your leg that is on the mat. Lift your other knee. Try to hug yourself as tight as possible. Bend your leg and make it like a figure 4. Bring the ankle on top of your knee and bend your hips to drop into modified version of Utkatasana chair pose. From here, if you like to balance on something, we are going to go for a balancing pose. You see if this is good. First time I am going to do the standing version if it is possible, otherwise skip this next few poses. We are going to always interlock your fingers to open your wrist a bit. You see I am bringing my opposite triceps and I am dropping my upper body down into my arms, which are bent at 90-degree, and I am going down and staying there. So we are going to make our elbows bent at 90-degree. You need to have a stronger wrist, stronger elbow. The back elbow is connected to your glutes. So it's glutes and your knee joint, that is the contact point with your hands, so that you can lift yourself up onto the side. It's not a side crow, it's like a side Puja Pitasana. Again, keep repeating and keep repeating. This is what I am trying to say to my students. We are going to, for the next side, instead of going through the vinyasa, since you might be tired, we can go directly from here to warrior 3. Release your strain from your wrist. Beautiful. Now we are going to go through a Vinyasa. No, Vinyasa. We are going to, sorry. You are going to lift your left leg up into Warrior 3, preparing yourself physically and mentally for doing the balancing pose. Hand position is very relative to yourself, so you decide how good you can keep your hands. Try to keep your hips parallel to each other. Beautiful. Come to a standing position. Lift your knee as much high as possible. Hug yourself, toes pointing down. Bend your leg in figure 4 stretch and then go for Utkatasana chair pose. You need a bit of a effort and concentration to stay in one-legged Utkatasana. You can stay here or you can proceed into the hand balancing position. Bring the opposite arm, triceps or armpits to the wide part of your foot. You can stay here. This is more than enough. And in this time, I will try to show you the balancing position from the sitting perspective. Maybe you can go from the sitting perspective, drop your hips down. If you are not able to, if you are not practicing the standing, sorry about the last few minutes. I got distracted. Now from the sitting position, how to go into the balancing position. You can see my triceps is coming down. My palms are down. I'm bending my elbow 90-degree and the back hand goes onto my glutes and I'm gently moving my weight onto my arms, trying to lift my back leg up. Breathe. Breathe. Again, if it is possible, if it's not possible uh, to come on to the handstand, it is perfectly fine. Don't worry too much. Try 3 to 5 times whenever you can. Maybe you can stay for a few seconds. That's a very nice, good one. Very nice, people. Good job. Try. Very nice. We are planning to stretch our wrist because our stress that we create a lot of strain to our wrist. We are trying to go. So one more time. It's one of my favorite handstands because you're really compact, so you don't have to worry too much, and you can build the strength in your arms, wrist, and gently you can proceed into handstands and other practices. So one more time, we are going to stretch our hamstring. Put your wrist palms onto the mat, fingers facing forward. Try to stay there for 5 to 7 times. Open your legs to the width of your mat, width of your hips, sorry. Inhale halfway, head up. Exhale, gently coming out. Hands on your hips, rotating your hips clockwise 3 to 7 times. Anti-clockwise 3 to 7 times. You're going to rotate the whole leg, internal, external rotation 3 to 7 times. And the opposite, obviously. Now preparing ourselves for the next asana, which is eagle leg. Before we go for the eagle leg, we will go for some balancing poses. Natarajasana, dancing Shiva, which is basically like a Utkatasana with one leg really out. You know, for India means Nataraja, the dancing Shiva. Tillai Ambala Nataraja, the dancing deity of Chidambaram. On the other side, don't worry about too much about the hand position. Try to keep it as much away as possible. Try to bend the leg that is on balancing you. It is that leg that is getting strengthened, and your core is getting a beautiful workout because of the lifted leg. The hand position can be anywhere. This is what I'm trying to teach. Before we are going to go for the next one, which is Nataraj dancer pose. For that, bend your right leg, grab your ankle using both hands, the elbows pointing back. Open your chest, open your shoulders, feel the stretch on your legs, lifting your sternum, opening your chest. Very nice. You can feel it, how much opening my entire front body goes through in this pose. This is a preparation for the dancer's pose. So you are going to beautiful shoulders down. When you're opening the chest, doesn't mean that you have to lift your shoulders. Beautiful. The other side. This also helps you to build your balancing poses. Try to keep the entire foot on the mat. Open your chest as much as possible. Very nice. Now you are going to grab the ankle of the leg, open your shoulders as shown, grab the ankle and try to lift the leg as higher and higher and high as possible. Try to keep a fixed focal point and try to lift the back leg as high as possible. Try to straighten the leg that is on the mat, creating balance, but the hips are always squared and parallel to each other. Don't open the hips too much. That's maybe you might have a stronger hamstrings. So work on this level, and we are going to go for the other side. As if you are carrying a tray of water, that hand goes from the inside, catching the ankle from the inside. You can see that my entire front part is getting a stretch. My lower back is trying to find a bend, and my pectoral muscles are really stretched. My leg that is on the mat is straight and trying to balance my weight. Beautiful people. If you are able to do it, please do so. From there, we are going to go for the next asanas. Inhale, opening yourself. Exhale, flexing forward. You can keep the legs together or open the legs to the width of your hips. Hold your big toe for standing forward bend. Padangusthasana. Try to keep lifting your hips higher and higher, stretching the hamstring as much as possible, dropping the head as much as possible. Now we are going to go for Padangusthasana. Try to bring the palms under your foot if you have this possibility. Your toes gently touching your wrist and massaging your wrist. You are getting a beautiful stretch on your hamstrings, your back, all the outside part of your body. The posterior chain is getting a stretch and the anterior chain is getting a beautiful compression. And we stay there for 5 to 7 long breaths. Take a long time to pose like this because our hamstrings and all are big muscles. So staying for 5-7 breaths is perfectly fine. Inhale, hands onto your hips. Exhale, inhale, exhale. Make your legs into a V. Catch your opposite. Now we are going to catch the opposite arms like as shown. Now we are going to drop to one side, lift your spine and drop. So it's kind of stretching your wrist, and you can gently pull your triceps and open to the side, open the side part of your body, which is your obliques. Coming to center and the other side. Whenever you're dropping to the side, you're gently opening the obliques. And we are staying there for 5 to 7 breaths. Releasing your hands, preparing ourselves for the next asana. We are almost towards the half point of our practice. Now we are going to go for the eagle leg. You can see that I can bind, or if binding is not an option, you can keep on top of each other. Try to keep the knees in line. Whatever leg is up, that hand comes down, other hand goes from the outside, and trying to stay in eagle hand. Drop your hips as much as possible, feeling the stability. This is more important for us to feel stable. And once you have done 5 to 7 long breaths, you try to gently lift your head actually, and exhale. Whenever you finish, coming up and to the other side. Drop your hips as much comfortable level as possible. Whatever knees, leg is up, that hand comes down, opening the shoulders, shoulder blades. Gently coming up. Beautiful. Inhale, arms up, arch back. Exhale, flex forward. Inhale into a plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, Aadha Mukha Svanasana. Open your knees to the width of your mat. Push your hips back. Keep the legs, hands stretched. Child pose. 5 to 7 long breaths. Try to keep the forehead into the mat. If bringing forehead is not an issue, you can bend your hand, make a fist, and rest your head on top of your wrists, clenched fists, and we stay there for 5 to 7 long breaths. Beautiful. Pushing, lift your hips up. You ensure that your shoulder is on top of your wrist. Toes tucked in, toes tucked out. You decide. We prepare ourselves for cat and camel. Some people say cow and camel. Inhaling, opening ourselves. Exhaling, closing ourselves. Inhale. Exhale. 5 to 7 long breaths. Here Mula Bandha helps us to go for that extra millimeter, and we are preparing ourselves for tiger pose. Inhale, right leg goes up. Exhale, bring it to your forehead. You can see that my hands are straight, elbows, eye of the elbow facing forward. That helps us to open your shoulders, and try to crunch your abdomen 5 to 7 times. Inhale, opening the body. Exhale, closing the body. 3. Very nice. Releasing the opposite hand. You can stay there, or try to send that hand, grab that ankle of the back leg. So your opposite limbs are on the mat and opposite limbs are clenching each other, holding each other. This helps you to open your pectoral muscles also, shoulders, shoulder blades. breathe. There is a beautiful back bend, as there is a beautiful back strengthening, and we are going to calm down, preparing ourselves for the other side. Left in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. 5 to 7 breaths. Send the opposite arm out. Find the balance first. You can stay there and then try to send the to grab the ankle of the back leg and try to go for a gentle back bend, which also helps us for a beautiful back bend. Square your hips and hips parallel to the mat. You can see that my back leg is 90-degree. Correct anatomical position. You will hear this thousands of times, coming out of the pose in your own time, preparing ourselves for puppy pose. Maybe yes, my leg is 90-degree and I'm trying to bring my head or chin into the mat. 5 to 7 long breaths. Puppy pose, Anahata Asana. It's a beautiful art opener. Beautiful. From there, we are going to go for all four. Move your hips in no particular order to release any stress or strain in your body. And we are going to prepare ourselves to go for the next asanas. Tucking the back toe, lifting the hips up, downward facing dog. Go onto your toes, bend your knees, looking between your thumb to jump or walk, to come for a sitting position of your own style. Adjust. I am going to show you how to jump back. Inhale, go onto your toes, bring the legs to the opposite wrist so that you feel like you're crossing the legs, and once you have done, straighten your leg. Beautiful. Preparing ourselves for sitting forward bend, Paschim Motasana. It's an important asana. Go onto your glutes, move your glutes around. Inhale, exhale. 5 to 10 long breaths. We are stretching our hamstrings, we are stretching our lumbar back, we are stretching our arms, neck. Everything is getting a beautiful stretch. So remember to stay, breathe, breathe, breathe. Every inhalation, taking the prana, and every exhalation, enjoying the spaciousness. Beautiful. Preparing for the counter pose. Bring the hands behind your hips. Lift your hips as high as possible. Option 1. Option 2, a bit of an easy variation. I like the option 2, to be very frank. Lift your hips. You can also feel your shoulder should be on top of your wrist. Inclined plank for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very nice. We are preparing ourselves for Janushi Rasasana, head to toe pose. Bend your right leg, your heels goes as high as possible into your pelvic floor muscles. Inhale, arms up, twist to the side where the leg is open, and exhale, flex forward. And we are staying there for 5 to 7 long breaths. 1, 2, breathe, 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 breathe. Now inhale, head up, bend the leg, interlocking your fingers to the wide part. Stretch yourself. So avoid bending your back like this. Straighten your leg, straighten your back, go on to your sitting bone, and then use your arms muscle, flex off your toes, drop your elbows to the side of your leg and try to bring your chin towards your knee joint. And we are going to stay there for 5 to 7 breaths. Beautiful stretch for opening your hamstring. 3, 4 and 5. Beautiful. Bend that leg and we are going to go for modified Marichyasana. Bring your same side on hands under your leg. That hand goes to catches the wrist of your other hand. Marichyasana Modification. Squaring your chest, falling forward. 5 to 7 breaths. Breathe. Marichyasana Modified version. Inhale, lifting ourselves up. We are going to go work on bit on our hand balancing. You can see how I'm keeping my leg connected on top of each other and trying to lift ourselves. Levitation. This is the purpose of a yoga. No, we always think that by doing yoga we will levitate from ourselves, from the body, but we can always levitate using your arms. You can see my back of my knee should stay on my triceps or on top of my shoulders. That is only you are possible. If you are sweaty like me, then you will slide out. So it's perfectly fine that it is going to work or it is not going to work. We will slowly strengthen our wrist and shoulders and arms so that we can go for headstands as we progress, preparing ourselves for the Janushi Rasasana on the other side. Again, an asana practice doesn't mean that you need to always include something really difficult. Simple asana practices continuously done over a period of time helps us to really gain the strength, stretching and the relaxation. That's another reason I practice my 108 salutation, a simple practice but gives me a lot of strength and stamina. Beautiful. 5 to 7 breaths in your own time. Inhale, head up. Exhale, inhale, completely head up. Bend that leg, interlocking the fingers to the wide part of the foot. Inhale, stretching the leg out. And we are staying there for 5 to 7 breaths. Breathe. Breathe. Now bend the leg. And we are going to go for modified Marichyasana on this side, 5 to 7 breaths. Whatever leg is going under your leg is the one that catches the wrist of your other hand. If you are able to catch that wrist, if not there, catch your fingers. If that is also not there, use a strap. Inhale, head up, exhale. Now we are trying to go for the handstand, as in, I forgot the name of this asana actually. So I'm just calling it a handstand asana because this is what I remember. So don't worry too much. For me, names are not the important thing. What you do, what is the end action is what important. Beautiful. This is let's call it Ardha Bhujangasana because the followed one we will go for Bhujangasana. You can see that we can use, this is an Ashtanga modification, Ashtanga jump through. So this you can always do an Ashtanga jump through. And then we can prepare ourselves to do the full Bhujangasana. You can see that there is no flow into this practice. I think one of my students was asking how to do Puja Pitasana from there, so I'm going from there directly there. Beautiful. So to go into Puja Pitasana, go on to your leg, bring the hands to the outside of your foot, and you can see that, and then try to bring your chin towards the mat if you have this possibility. This is an Ashtanga sequence, as bit of an Ashtanga sequence. So palm goes to go on to your into Malasana. Drop your palms, bring the palms to outside of your foot. So your entire weight, you're hugging your triceps using your legs, and you stay here. Puja Pitasana, levitation. One more handstand. If you wanted to go from here to Bakasana, you can see how I'm opening myself to this thing, and I'm going to jump through. Since there is no space and this is not an Ashtanga practice, I will not jump through. You can always see how it is going to work for you. Whenever we are doing anything with a handstand, we can try to avoid any strain from your wrist by going for a gentle twist or wave or anything that release all the strain from your wrist, because our arms, palms and wrist are not designed to carry our weight. You can see I'm pressing the back of my palm against each other to release all the strain. Beautiful people, preparing ourselves. We are almost towards the closing time. That means that more twists, maybe inversions and other kind of things comes into play. Go down onto your back, press your lower glutes into the mat to release any strain from your lumbar back. You can gently wriggle, lift your hips up and wriggle also, and put the mat in, put the glutes back into the mat. Right leg goes on top of your left thigh. Right hand goes between your legs. Left hand comes from the outside, interlocking your fingers onto your shin, and give yourself a very nice hug. Breathe. You don't have to look at the camera. If you have been following my class, you know how my closing sequence goes. A closing sequence is like a personal journey. Visualize what has happened, what have you done. This stretch opens your glutes, hamstring muscles. Beautiful. Now we can press, lift, keep holding your leg using left hand and press the right knee away from you to open your piriformis muscles. You can see that my entire back is on the mat. I have a natural curve which you cannot see. So don't try to press your spine too straight. And then we are going to go for the other side. First is the hamstring using figure 4 stretch, followed by opening the piriformis. Let's say 5 to 7 long breaths each asana. This is my classical cooling down process. Maybe sometimes I do the inversion and come here, or sometimes I do this and go to inversions, because this is a personal journey, as I was mentioning before. Enjoy the process, visualize what have you done towards the whole practice. Remember always the intention of the practice. Open your piriformis, release the left hand, push your left knee away from you, opening your piriformis. It's a small muscle around your anal sphincter that kind of pinches our sciatic nerves and give us the back pain. So keeping it happy, it's a happy us. Injury prevention and injury cure is a output of an asana practice. It is not the main intention. Now drop the legs, gently go to side to release any strain, to prepare ourselves for windmill, or how do you call this, the one that you have it in car to wiper, rain water wiper. You can see, as you can see, I'm using my hand as a support. My shoulders are completely packed into the mat and I'm going both sides. beautifully stretching my lumbar spine, twisting my lumbar back 5 to 7 times on each side, and then you are going to stay on a twist on one of the sides. You decide when to, on how long, how dynamic motion you need, how much static motion you need. Both has a different context, different joy. Both are perfectly fine. You can release one of the hands and press your knees also towards the mat. This also helps us. And to the other side, obviously. Beautiful. Preparing ourselves for the inversion. See, this is an easy variation. If you don't want to go into a shoulder stand, just lift your legs up, let the venous blood drop, flow into back into your heart. From there, you can gently lift your hips up to go for Viparita Karani, or you can go for shoulder stand. From shoulder stand, after 10 to 12 breaths, go into Alahasana. In Halasana, you can see that I'm still holding my back. You can always release the hands to interlocking the fingers. From Halasana, I'm going into Garbhapidasana. By dropping the knee to the side of your ears. From there, in your own time, gently coming out of the pose into Makshayasana fish pose. You're going to bring our hands, palms under, straighten the leg, inhale upward, body arms up, and drop your head to the mat. Breathe gently, inhale, head up, to gently coming out of the pose in your own time, releasing your wrist, preparing ourselves for final closure. Bring your legs as close as possible, wide part of the mat, legs touching, meeting each other, dropping the knee to the outside for the closing posture, which is Supta Virasana. You can use the weight of your hands on your inner thigh to gently open your hips, hip sockets. Breathe, breathe, breathe. A beautiful way to bring a closure to the asana practice. We will go into do some pranayama classes, pranayama practices, which is perfectly a very nice way to end a practice. So this will be your shavasana for the day. From there, go into fetal position of your favorite side. For staying there for 7 to 10 breathe. And come to a sitting position of your own way, in your own way, to your own favorite sitting position, Sukhasana or Vajrasana or Padmasana. Any asana is perfectly fine. Here we are going to work on the breathing. So we are going to, it's always good to do pranayama at the beginning or at the end, depending upon the your uh, your your preference. Today we are doing it in the end. We can also do it in the beginning. So we are going to do Kapalabhati 2 times. As you can see, I'm breathing from inhaling, exhale I'm doing with the force, and inhaling happens naturally. Drop your head, hands on your thigh, go for, you can do as much as you can see. None of my other body parts are moving except for my abdominis. Here we are going to do 2 times. So first time we are going to hold the breath inhaling, second time we are going to hold the breath exhaling. So whenever you are ready, inhale, exhale, inhale, holding your breath, clench your glutes, Mula Bandha, gently tuck your in, Jaladhara Bandha. We are holding this breath and enjoying the benefits of taking as much prana from the air that we have it inside of your lungs. If you need to come early out, come early out, otherwise lift your chin up, exhale, inhale, exhale. One more round of Kapalabhati whenever you are ready. So remember, in Kapalabhati, you decide on the space, you decide on the speed, you can do it very slow, you can go it fast. So you decide, start. Try to hold your bandha as much as possible, especially Mula Bandha. We normally do this for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 1 minute. So you can gradually progress in your own time. This time, remember, we are going to hold it for exhalation. This is almost like a Wim Hof breathing. Exhale, inhale, exhale. And at the end of the exhalation, you bring your internal organs as shown. And try to hold your breath. This is Jaladhara, all 3 bandhas engaged. And you have to come down, release your bandhas and start. Inhale, exhale, exhale, inhale. Beautiful people. Now we are going to go for the last of the pranayama, which is basically Bastrika Ranayama, which is basically a Kapalabhati, but where inhalation and exhalation both are forceful. Yeah. So you are going to, you can see that we can use it in Kundalini practices. They all use the hand like I am showing. Inhale up, exhale down. For me, I find this bit difficult. I use only my abdominals to do it. We can also do towards this side like I'm showing, or You don't have to use any of the things, and you can use only inhale, exhale using only your abdomens. So combination of this. So this is Bastrika, the Bellow Pranayama. You can use your hands, for example. You can always do 10-15 times. This really warms up your body, especially in the morning. If you're in a colder weather, this really helps us to warm up ourselves. Beautiful. Breathe. Inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, inhale, exhale. And I'm going to hold the breath after an exhalation. Like after exhalation, I can bring my internal organs even more inside into Uddiyana Bandha, which you can see in the screen. Beautiful people. Now you can go for quick meditation of your own time. Remember, you always keep practicing all the pranayamas. Well, it's the same. That is not, we are not going to invent anything new. So try to practice as much as possible. It's only practice that makes us who we are. Take simple practices. Don't take too big ones that is very difficult to maintain. So keep a simple practices and then try to sculpt your body in such a way that you will be in a position to help yourself out. Now we are going to complete the class by bringing our hands in prayer position in front of our hearts. Thank yourself for being here. Thank your physical body. Thank each and every person in your life without whom you are not the person we are today. We complete the class by chanting one long Om followed by 3 Shanti, inhaling. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you for watching this video. I hope I did some justice in giving you a class that you will like and enjoy. See you soon. Keep smiling. Bye bye from Bala.